We've been going through our 2026, 2027 planning process. And the team's been hard at work on trying to take this strategy and make it work. Trying to make it work with the right product roadmap, trying to make it work with the right marketing plan, the right e-commerce plan, HR plan, and finance plan. Now, the finance side is the hardest one because Origin's never taking on an investment. We've never taken on an investment, and I don't plan on it. I'm not like interested in bringing in more people into the business, and so every dollar that we generate is what we've used to drive this thing forward. Which is really hard, right, for making things in America. And I saw a brand, who was it? It was maybe Sitka. There's a hunting brand, or Kuyu. There's a hunting brand that put this statement out on Instagram talking about how they're going to be taking price because how the tariffs have affected them. And I saw another brand, actually, a brand I really liked. They make backpacks, travel backpacks, and I've been buying their product for a decade. And they made a similar post about a month ago, like, we're going to have to take price because this isn't working for us. And that's really an interesting concept, that all these brands, and there's been many, many more, who are importing are now turning around and taking price. Now, one of these posts, it said something like, we've looked inside first, we've done all we can to try and minimize the impact of increasing our prices. We couldn't get all the way there, and so we're going to have to take more dollars from the consumer. Now, you got to remember, these brands, they're already making 60, 70, 80, 90 points of margin, all right? Like, there's so much margin there when you're importing product because, it's slave labor that's making this stuff. Like, let's just call it what it is. It's freaking forced labor making your shit. That doesn't feel good, does it? It doesn't feel good that people who don't have any upward trajectory in life, that people sitting there moving like they have no souls, like machines doing a job, that doesn't feel good. But that product gives you so much dopamine, doesn't it? When you get it in your hands and you touch it and you smell it and you use it and you wear it, so much dopamine. The way of the American consumer, until they're educated, until they're enlightened, until there's an awakening, that's how it's going to be. Now, I hope to change that shit with what we're doing at Origin, what this team is doing. The thing is none of them are really going to look at a way to make it in the United States. And I understand why that is. Because it's fucking hard. And people don't like to do hard things. People don't want to step outside their comfort zone. Like, that's painful. It hurts. It hurts to do that. It hurts to lose margin dollars. It hurts not to pay yourself a salary, right? I've done that so many times. It hurts to make hard decisions around product, around process, around people, around planning. It hurts. It's painful. Business is painful. Building anything iconic, anything meaningful in life is painful. In the tension, it's in the friction where the magic is made, and where something comes alive, and where those synapses in your mind connect, because you've been pressed to make decisions. And so all this to say, is it a cop-out? Is it a cop-out to say, no, we got to take more dollars from the consumer on this company, this brand that I really like, and I'm not gonna put the name out there, that makes this backpack that I use when I travel. I posted on the Instagram, if you guys need help making this or sourcing this in America, I would love to speak with you. I love your product. I'd love to help you build your business. I don't want anything in return. I just like to see this being made here. And we have deep resources and supply chains to be able to help do this. Zero response. There's no response. And they can see who I am, like I'm an entrepreneur. And they can, I know they've been to my Instagram page, and they can see like I'm not just some bullshitter. Like I'm a real guy who can help them in their U.S. supply chain. They don't want help. They don't want help. They want to keep things as it is. They want their margin. They want their margin dollars. And this is how brands die. Brands die by not measuring and changing. That's one way a brand can die. Another way a brand can die is like running out of capital, okay? And not having the cash to do the things that you want to do within the plan. And so this for me is always top of mind, is as we're planning the strategy for 26 and 27, is making sure that we have the margin dollars, the cash, to be able to execute the plan. And you've got to be able to see this down the road, like free cash flow, cash on hand, margin dollars, operating income, like that. That to me is so damn important. And then where the dollar goes is so important too. Like every dollar, like this dollar, it can go into, let's say it can go into the back end, and it can buy a machine that automates a process, and so your cost of goods comes down because your efficiencies increase. Or this dollar could go into the front end, and the front end could go get me a 12-to-1 return on ad spend over the lifetime value of the customer, measured out over 90 and 120 days. And so it's not cut and dry where you should put those dollars. And that's why it's so important to have a strong team who respects each other's business units, where there are no silos, right? Where you understand the contribution of that peer to your business unit. And when I talk about the octopus, the kraken, not ripping itself apart, this is one of those key drivers out of that. I told my team, and a lot of what I'm talking about is origin, and I can talk more about Jocko Fuel. I'm not running that business anymore as of January 1st. I can talk about like prior history, building and scaling Jocko Fuel, and how we're able to do that, and building the team and supply chains and issues we dealt with. But my focus is origin, and so it's always top of mind for me. But having those business units working together, and in this octopus group, in this square group, they've been trying to sort through this. And the vision I cast, I don't want to say it's an impossible vision. It's not impossible, but it's near impossible. It's near impossible if everything doesn't go exactly as planned. And what happened is kind of like what I expected to happen. They came back to me and they said, your timeline is really fast, really fucking fast. I'm like, yeah, it is fast. So what are we going to do about it? Like that's the timeline. What are we going to do about it? Now, that's the tension that I need in the system, okay? That's the healthy tension I need in the system. Unhealthy tension would be if the team came back and said, Pete, you're fucking crazy. This is never going to happen. What world are you living in, man? And then all of a sudden the team is going and they're talking shit about the strategy. This is bad culture. This is not a good team that would do that. My expectation is the team's going to say, hey, this is really fast, which is what they did. It's not crazy, but everything has to go right, and so there's risk to it. Okay, tell me about the risk. Tell me about the risk. Well, you want to open 5 stores in 2027, and you want to build a $60 million factory of the future and campus and destination location in 2030. And these are the revenue targets we need to hit. These are the margin dollars we need to hit. And this is the investment it's going to take to do those things over time. And we don't have a strong enough banking relationship to support that. All right, that's the real conversation. What did I say earlier? Measure and change, right? If you're not measuring and changing, you're going to die. And if you run out of cash, right, you're going to die also. So I expect them to propose back to me a little bit different plan. Like, hey, you can't do 5 stores, your 5 first stores, you can do 2. Hey, we really can't build this size of a factory. We could afford to do this, or we can pause, wait another 24 months and do something in 2032. So that's the conversation a strong team will have. Not saying you're freaking crazy, your ideas are crazy. You don't live in the normal world. They may feel like that at times, but the approach has to be, how do we realize this long-term strategic vision? How do we realize the long-term strategic vision that was laid out for us, right? That's like commander's intent. Now they can come to me and they can change the plan and they can shift it around, but we still need to go from point A to point B to point C, whatever that timeline means, and run a healthy business. And it has to be done out of pocket, right? So one sec, I'm gonna grab a coffee here. Hey again.
Hi.
Can I get 2 medium cappuccinos, please? With caramel flavoring. Yeah. Shit. Oh, I have my phone. For a second there, I thought I forgot my phone.
Anything else?
Oh, that's it.
483 is your total. Yeah, Apple Pay?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll be able to make a window for you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Hi.
Hey. My phone was on silent again. I just saw your message when I picked up my phone. I'll just bring it to the factory.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger. See you in a minute.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. At one point in my entrepreneurial journey, I did believe that what I was asking was too much. And this was more recently. When I dropped out of college and started my first business, it was like 2001 or maybe 2002. It was about 25 years ago. And so it was just recently. I was well over 20 years into it where for a moment I started to believe that what I was asking, what I could see in my mind's eye might not be possible, might not might be a little bit crazy. Maybe this isn't how it's done. And I had to slap myself and wake up, right? Because anything is possible. It doesn't matter how things are done, how things were done, how things should be done. Like there are no boundaries to the imagination, and so there are no boundaries to the possibilities of the imagination. This is the truth. If you can see it, it is possible. If you can believe you can make it happen, you have to put the pieces in place to realize that. And that all comes back to the team. It all comes back to having a strong vision. And it all comes back to having the healthy tension in the system to realize that. Not having a bunch of doubters around you that think you're a crazy cowboy and you don't live on planet Earth. Like that's not the way. So these brands that are choosing weakness, right? They're gonna die. Like they're not gonna survive. Remember, business, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. The beginning is the most fun. It has the most energy. It's like that insatiable desire to make things, and it's wild and crazy and chaos, and you're organizing it all in your head and in reality, and you're organizing it, and it's so much damn fun. And then you have the middle. And the middle is what you're trying to extend for as long as possible. Years and decades. Like you're trying to extend this middle. I call it a 100-year plan. I'm not going to be around when it's realized. But you're trying to extend that. Hey.
Here are those.
All right, grazie.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. You're trying to extend that middle and scale, right? Extend. So you're trying to extend it and scale it. And brand is trust. That's all it boils down to. That to be able to extend it, you have to create trust over decades and with consumers that span in age ranges, right? And you've got to constantly stay innovative and culturally relevant. It's also important to recognize that culturally relevant. You don't want to get lost in the dark ages as humanity moves forward, right? And so you got to be paying attention to these market dynamics. If you're curious in market dynamics, I did a video on why I started this channel, and I talk about market dynamics. And you can respond to a problem or you can react to a problem. And I think these brands are probably right in the middle. They are thoughtful because they're big brands. And their response is pay me more money for this imported shit that we don't want to make in America because it's too hard. And I say shame on you. I say shame on you. If I was them, these brands, and there are a lot of them doing this, what I would say is, hey, making things in America is hard, but we're all about the hard path. And although we can't switch our supply chains because there's too much risk to that, after spending time with our team, we do want to run a parallel path on exploring what this would look like. So we're going to pull out all stops to see if the supply chain is strong enough in America to make this stuff. But in the interim, hey, I'm here.
Where?
I'm out back.
You want me to come to you?
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. But in the interim, we need to take price while we figure this out. And we apologize for this. And hopefully at some point we can give the dollars back, or we'll take those margin dollars and we'll put them into making stuff in America. I don't know. There's just so many more ways to go about it. And I'm not even saying that's the right thing to say. I'm just saying that you can play. Here you go, babe. Oh, I got a meeting at 8. It'll probably take 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I have 1 o'clock, so.
Roger, I'll catch up with you later. Totally lost my train of thought. I guess what I was trying to say is it's a bit of an excuse, because making change is painful and working outside the box that you know is painful. And it's really painful if you don't have a team that can be resourceful and think outside of the box. So even as a response, it's a little bit reactionary, and it's expected. Like this is what most businesses would do, which I totally understand. With Origin, because we have never been in the box and we don't understand how the world works. Let me say that again a different way. The world is supposed to work a certain way. Supply chains are supposed to work a certain way. Building a brand is supposed to work a certain way. We broke all the rules. And so, yeah, we're a little bit rebellious. We're a little bit American. We're a lot of bit American because we're working outside the box. And it's all we freaking know. We don't know any other way, so this is our norm. Working with a compressed margin is our norm. Being more resourceful on the manufacturing side, being lean, having single piece flow, getting a higher ROAS and spend for our advertising dollars. The way that we're doing it is hard and outside of the box, and it's driven a resourcefulness within the organization. Because if we don't get it perfect, then that middle part I was talking about that we're trying to extend shortens, okay? And so right now we're projecting out needing more cash. We're gonna need more cash to execute the plan. And if you're not growing, you're dying. And that doesn't mean you need to grow 80 or 100% CAGR year over year, compounding annual growth rate for those new to the channel. Doesn't mean your compounding annual growth rate needs to be that big. I mean, it can be 5% if you want. It can be 25%, 15, whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you're not growing, you're dying. Like, that's the key. If you're not eating market share in engaging customers and converting those customers, somebody else is. And so somebody else is beating you, okay? Which means that you're losing. And you don't want to be a loser in business. So just a little bit of insights on what we're working through as we plan our business the next 24 months. And what I see other brands doing in relation to that and the changing economic environment and the resourceful it takes to stay relevant in the conversations and touch points. And I can tell you, this is really hard to do remotely. I'm sure it works better for stage 3 businesses. I think it's for interaction. You don't have any cooler conversations going on. You're not in somebody's presence, so there's no physical energy connection, like it's missing, and so I'm just not a fan of it. And with that said, in Origin, I do have some hybrid workers and some remote workers, and so there are instances where I think it can work, but But for me, the majority of the workforce needs to be physically co-located, physically in one of our 3 plants. And within that, even with hybrid situations, they've got to be in the plants. They got to be with the team. You're gonna, if not, you miss these things. If not, it's much harder to be resourceful also. And I can do a whole brain dump on this, and I don't want to get into the whole remote/hybrid work situation, because I do have some strong opinions on what can work and what can't work through experience. But for me, the team, they gotta be physically present to drive this behavior and this resourcefulness. And the next step for us is now finding the dollars to do the things we want to do. And so that's like, we have a great plan. We have a great product roadmap. We can see the future, and I already believe it's done. I believe that it's already complete. All of this has already happened. Now we just got to wait some time to realize it in reality, right? Because it's here, and so it's happened already, and everybody else will get to see it in another 5, 6, 8, 10 years. And I believe 100% it's happened. Like I would bet everything I have on that it's happened. It's happening. Like the reality is this has happened, but now we got to fill the gap. We just got to fill that timeline and make sure you have the right team and resources to do that. So don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your vision. If you're a new entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, if you're in your 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever age you are, it actually doesn't matter what age you are. But if you're new to the game, don't doubt your vision. But make sure that you're seeking counsel with people who have been there and done it. And I'm not talking to your brother, your sister, your cousin, or your mom. I'm talking about someone who's gone through the experiences and paid the tuition. Seek counsel, find the data and information, and spend time reinforcing that. Like that, I think that's really important. If you can see a way forward and you can find a way forward, you are the seafarer. You know, you are navigating the ship across the ocean. That's actually your job, right? as an entrepreneur, somebody starting their entrepreneurial journey or in their entrepreneurial journey. So anyhow, I guess I'll leave you this. I gotta get to a meeting. Just because it's supposed to be done a certain way doesn't mean you have to do it that way. Don't be ignorant to the fact that there are some strong ways to do things. You know, don't fight everything. But understand the world is constantly changing, the consumer's changing, technology's changing, cultural changes, things are changing, and if you see a vein, go mine that thing. Get down there and mine it. And realize those ideas and be resourceful around them. And don't make excuses.